Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another walk and talk. If you are new to the channel, this might be a little bit strange and a little bit unusual to you, but essentially what I'm doing here is just getting away from the desk, getting some exercise and picking up a camera and talking at crypto. So we're out in a little bit of a different location today, just kind of different scenery on these walk and talk videos. So we're going to be pretty much talking about XRP today, some interesting kind of developments with Ripple versus the SEC, and I think some interesting kind of developments around that could be interesting to the kind of everyday retail investor. So that's going to be the focus of this video, talking, what's going on with Ripple, what's going on with the SEC, and what implications that might have for the price action of XRP, right? And so as we kind of get into this, I guess if you do find it useful, informative, and then you can go ahead and smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. So let's talk about what's been going on then when it comes to Ripple and SEC, right? So obviously about 3 years ago, the SEC, Jay Clayton, dropped the lawsuit, basically claiming that XRP is a security and Ripple sold unregistered securities, right? Everyone knows the story by this point. Now, back in 2020, in the very early stages of what we were kind of talking about and kind of the things that we first kind of thought about in regards to how the SEC kind of dropped this case on Ripple. Well, we often said, and pretty much right away when the lawsuit was dropped, that really there's only one kind of outcome that is likely to occur, and that's going to be settlement, right? And this is simply because the case that the SEC kind of put forward was incredibly weak. This was then compounded with basically just really poor performance from the SEC lawyers during 2021. And it really kind of hit home for us here at Cheeky that essentially it didn't make a lot of sense. They didn't seem like they wanted to win. They made mistake after mistake after mistake. And essentially it just looked like they were just trying to either delay or hinder or just, I guess, stunt the growth and the price action of XRP through their actions. So, as we kind of progressed through 2021 and 2022, it was very much the same kind of story. Essentially, not really a lot of compelling evidence from the SEC side, not really a good performance from the lawyers, and basically we're just kind of reaffirming our position that it was likely to end in settlement. And so here we are in 2023, almost 3 years since that lawsuit was dropped, and well, we can now see that they are in the process of going through and talking about settlement, right? Now, obviously with that, that's great and fantastic news. It might help drive some speculation around the price action of XRP, but we also have to kind of be realistic at the same time, right? We know that there is a 3-month, delay to a point. I guess I could call it a delay, but it is a discovery period that the SEC are trying to basically put forward to Judge Torres, right? So this basically means that the SEC want 3 months from now before they'll even get into the discussion with Ripple about settlement. Okay, so this essentially means that we are not likely to see any settlement until Q2 of 2024 at the earliest, which means that gives us some more time for accumulation. It gives us time to kind of cool off after the recent moves in the crypto market, and it allows you to kind of build bigger positions, right? But we don't want to kid ourselves into thinking that we're going to find settlement by the end of the 18th of November, for example, or any particular kind of date that kind of gets plucked out of thin air by some kind of XRP maximalist, for example. Ultimately, we all want settlement. We all want this case to kind of come to a close, and we kind of want to move forward. But realistically speaking, we've still got quite some time before that actually is kind of brought into the foreground, right? So when it does happen, I think we're going to see some pretty great things. But for now, ultimately, we're about 3 months out. 3 months out from the start of negotiations, I should say. Now, the other things that we've seen in the space are, some interesting kind of volatility around the price action of XRP as well. Now, obviously, a lot of this is driven from Bitcoin breaching and pushing up higher. Bitcoin pushing the way that it has done has kind of led the rest of the crypto market to pushing up as well. So XRP is no exception to that. It has moved up quite a bit. It's been some pretty decent growth. But it is still lackluster. It's not as where it was previously. And although Bitcoin's pushed up into higher highs, XRP simply hasn't. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind myself. I hold a pretty decent position in XRP, and I'll continue to look at it and think about whether I want to add to that position or not over time. Now, we have seen, of course, the most recent price action looking pretty good. It's caused a bit of FOMO and all those kind of things. But it has also led into some retail investors also getting wrecked, right? Because there's this fear of missing out on potential gains. Fear is your enemy in this space. We have seen 61% of liquidations in the last 24 hours being that of long positions. This means that people are FOMOing in with leverage, not really using proper risk management. Now, total liquidations are $3.8 million for XRP in the last 24 hours, which for the most part isn't a massive amount, but it's enough to kind of get you thinking that maybe retail investors are not that clear as to kind of what they are doing. And so I'll try to get you out of the sun there. So we want to be aware that retail investors have been maybe a little bit reckless in their approach to trading XRP. And I think we've seen 61% of liquidations falling at the hands or the feet of those retail investors going long on the market. You can't always go on up. You do have to see natural healthy corrections to the downside. I talk about this all the time. For the most part, I get called perma-bear for this kind of approach to the market. But essentially, I'm looking at the market and I'm looking at the data. And to be honest with you, we are looking for a healthy correction to the downside. Doesn't mean it's going to happen yet, though. We are going to be looking at XRP actually pulling back quite aggressively over probably in the next few months before we get into that settlement with the SEC and Ripple. So all in all, I'm quite happy to kind of see things unfolding the way they are. Timing is going to be quite critical here because we do need to see several things happen really in the crypto space before we can really kind of get really confident on the price action. So we're looking for a Fed pivot. That's going to be a pretty key catalyst for us as well. We're looking for Bitcoin spot ETFs, Ethereum spot ETFs getting approved. They're going to be key catalysts as well. And of course, people will love to speculate on the Bitcoin halving event as well. So all in all, I'm quite happy to kind of see everything unfolding the way it is, because I think we're going to see everything kind of coinciding together, coming together quite nicely for a really strong bullish market. Just not yet. And in terms of price action, well, that splits opinions as to where I think things are heading. I think there's definitely some good growth to be seen for XRP, and we're going to see some pretty decent price action in the future, in my opinion. I think that, if we're realistic about it, we'll aim somewhere between $10 and $15, which seems like a low ball figure, and it can be a low ball figure, but it seems very good to see pretty decent ROIs on your investment at those kind of key levels. Of course, we'd all love to see $50, $100, $589 XRP. I just don't think we're likely to see that this particular cycle through. But I think that's going to wrap up this video today, guys. Just a bit of a walk and a talk, walking through this field here and sharing my thoughts and opinions on what is going on with XRP. If you have found it useful, informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out. Link is in the description below. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.